Hey everybody, it is John the Comic Guy, and I just saw on Facebook just 15 minutes ago a posting of records for sale for $15. So I saw a couple of the records that he posted. I wanted to get them. He responded immediately, and I just picked them up. He was about 5 minutes away from me at most. So I have them here in a box, and let me turn the phone around and flip through them with you. Okay, so this is the box of records. Again, $15 for this entire stack. So let's see what we got. Quicksilver, I'm going to check that out. Barry Manilow, Barry Manilow, Barry Manilow. I think this is Streisand and I have it actually. A lot of Barry Manilow. Streisand. By the way, these are in still in plastic, so I like this. I have this, but because it's still in plastic, it's in shrink. I'm sure I have a couple of copies out of shrink, and that's going to replace one of them. New Riders, purple. I never heard of this. Hey, baby. King Kong, John Luke Ponty. Plays the music of Frank Zappa. I might have to check that out. John Turner, The Living Word. Richard Pryor, never heard of that. An Evening with John Denver. B.B. King, might have to check that out, and that's in shrink. It's funny, Krista just went out for a walk, and by the time she just came home, I was able to pick this collection up. Quiet Riot, Mental Health, still in shrink, worth looking at. Synergy Audio, I never heard of that, from Caldor. This is Dionne Warwick, Mangione, another Dionne, Thompson Twins. I'm gonna have to see if I have that. I don't know if this is the one with Dr. Doctor, but matter of fact, when we listen to that, we have a nice little duet every time we hear it. Smokey Robinson, John Cougar, C-Train. Oh, yeah. Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz, and Shrink. That was the one I saw. That's the one that really pulled me in. The Beach Boys' Greatest Hits. I'm gonna have to check that out. Out of Sight. I don't know if this is a K-Tel record I have or not, but looks like it's worth looking at. Let's see. Mystic Moods, Seals and Croft. I actually have a Seals and Croft Greatest Hits, so I'm going to probably keep that. Some more Barry Manilow. There's a little Duke and a Driver, the Desert String, Johnny Mathis, Chris Rita, Chuck Mangione, Billy Squire. I might have to check that out. Ah, look at this. In shrink, Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry, Kim Carnes, Styx 2. Krista's favorite band is Styx, so let's put that aside. I'm not sure if I have that on the boards. Taste, I've never heard of those. Josh White, Bing Crosby, Dionne Warwick, more Dionne Warwick. Delaney and Bonnie. And these look like compilations. Let's turn it around and see what these are. The Penny Whistlers. There's Beethoven, and this is all right. So I'm going to end this part of the recording. These are the ones I'm going to end up cleaning up, and I'll let you know which ones I end up keeping, if not all of them. Hey everybody, so okay, I had a chance last night to spin clean all of the records and carefully select which of the albums from this collection I am going to keep for my own private collection now. Just as a friendly reminder, I ended up getting this collection for the advertised price of $15 cash. This guy was great. He actually thanked me for taking them off of his hands. So he wanted them out, NZ, right? He wanted them out. He also told me he's going to keep my contact information if I'm interested, and I told him yes, because he has more records. He has open reel tapes. He has cassettes and cassette players, and all of that stuff is stuff that I keep and listen to. So great contact near me. Really looking forward to connecting with him. And this is all for albums that he had in his own private collection or family members. So all of these are very fine to near mint. Most of these have shrink. These albums are pristine. So in every case, the ones I'm keeping, if I am upgrading, they're better than the ones I had. So I love that. And a lot of these, as you'll see, I'm keeping them anyway, my older copies, because they were in great condition, and I don't mind having multiple copies of certain records. So the first one I'm going to keep is Billy Squier, Enough is Enough. This is actually the 5th album from Billy. His 4th album is where he dropped the video, Rock Me Tonight, and that was the one that kind of caused the downward spiral in his career. I was a big Billy Squier fan. His Don't Say No album, fantastic. That, like, Stroke Me, all those albums, that album was great. But I did not have this album before. I am unfamiliar with the music on this. The one in particular that I think I'm the most interested in listening to is Love is the Hero. And the reason is Love is the Hero actually has guest singing Freddie Mercury. As you guys know, I'm a big Queen fan, so I'm kind of curious if I heard it and I just don't remember the title, which is very, very possible. But looking forward to hearing this, and as you can see, it has hype sticker on the shrink. It's in great condition. The next record I'm keeping is B.B. King, Blues on Top of Blues. Now, I am not a massive blues fan. I like it. I have a couple of B.B. King albums already. I have a couple of blues albums, but it's not typically in my wheelhouse. But when you have such a master like B.B. King, I always end up keeping and listening to it with Krista. So we kind of analyzing how we like it. But you know, blues is good. I like it. I'm looking forward to adding this to the collection and listening to BB and the music here. The next record is really more for Krista than me. She is a massive Styx fan. She's seen them in concert many times. She loves their music. This is one of the 2 albums that I don't have from them. So I didn't have the first Styx album and I didn't have Styx 2. Primarily on Styx, who I like. I don't love Styx, but I like them. And that's because I'm more of a Tommy Shaw fan. So I'm going to give a little shout out to my buddy here, Bill Schultz. As you guys know, I mentioned Bill and his wife Jackie. So Jackie Schultz, I've known since I was in kindergarten. We went to kindergarten together out at North End School. Bill Schultz and I have been buddies since high school, right? And so Bill, Jackie, Krista, and Ernie, they stayed over for a weekend over the summer. We were all partying by my outdoor fireplace, drinking and listening to music until 3 in the morning. So those were some long nights, right? So we're talking music for hours, and I am a big fan of Night Ranger. So Jack Blades is huge in my world, right? I love Night Ranger. Always loved Night Ranger since their first album. And Krista mentioned how much she loves Styx, and then we also then were talking, which the evolution of that conversation is we love Damn Yankees, right? That song High Enough and the duet of Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades were great. And then Bill, and here's a picture to remind you of Bill. Bill goes, have you ever heard Shaw Blades? And we haven't. Ernie hasn't heard of him. I haven't heard of him. He goes, well, and we were streaming. Pardon me. We were listening to music and drinking and streaming music on my Wi-Fi or my Bluetooth speaker. He goes, put Shaw Blades on. And we were listening to Shaw Blades. In particular, he goes, put on the Seals and Crofts song, Summer Breeze, that they redid. And have you guys heard that? Have you heard Shaw Blades? Wow, those guys are great. So that just reinforced my big fandom of those two. And I even had to text them a couple of weeks ago saying, guys, Krista and I are listening by the fireplace again, and we put Shaw Blades on, and starts making you sing. Hearing a duet like that, those guys really have great voices. So, Bill, thank you so much for turning me on to Shaw Blades. Those guys really do rock. Thank you guys for indulging me on as I digress in music. And by the way, that's why I don't know if I'm going to like Styx 2. It doesn't have Tommy Shaw yet, but I'm going to give it a listen to it, as will Krista. The next album is a psychedelic band, Quicksilver. I don't have any albums besides this of Quicksilver, so this is a first for me. I've seen their album covers many, many times. I was always curious, and if I had a chance to own one of their albums through a collection, I would pick it up, but this is the first. This is their anthology, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm guessing this is the best of their music, and I'm going to give it a listen to. And if you guys know already, I'm a huge Pink Floyd. I don't know how they compare, but again, psychedelic rock is right up my wheelhouse. The next is going to be interesting. This is the best of the greatest of the Beach Boys, but this is not a Capitol album. This is not from Capitol Records. This is from Wand. If you guys in the comic world are watching, there's always some controversy with greatest hits. So, a lot of the purists say they don't like greatest hits records. And the reason is sometimes they have different producers, different mixers, and they don't sound quite as good as off the original album. Now, I don't know if that's true, and I'm getting older, so I don't know if I've noticed that, but when you have different sound mixers and all of that kind of blending together, typically these greatest hits albums are a money grab, right? You have the company making these greatest hits album to crank out another record. Hopefully that took up one of the albums that they were contractually obligated to create for this record company, and because of that, they may not make these greatest hits albums with the love they do with the original albums that the songs came out on. Then you kind of have companies like Wand that I am unfamiliar with. Who knows if they even degrade the sound more? We just don't know. But I tend to keep multiple pressings, so I have a lot of Beach Boys greatest hits albums anyway. But I'm going to give this a listen to, and we're going to check it out because I am a big Beach Boys fan. The next album is one that I have been actively hoping I find. I haven't been searching for it because I don't buy records that way. But in collections I acquire, I am always hopeful to find certain records, and this is one of them. Thompson Twins, Into the Gap. And the song in particular, as I mentioned before, was Doctor, Doctor. So typically, when Krista and I, after we finish dinner, we sit outside, we're drinking, and we're listening to music. When Doctor, Doctor comes on, there are times that I just feel like we are like the best karaoke or singers out there, and that's when we start singing in harmony, and it probably sounds like a bunch of wolves, but we love it, and Doctor, Doctor is one of those songs. Matter of fact, I might have to do a video on songs that make us either air drummers, air guitarists, or wannabe singers, but Thompson Twins, that's a good one, and it's in Shrink. The next album I'm keeping is one of my favorites of all times, Peter Gabriel's So. This I've had probably 50 copies of in my day. The one I originally had was in Shrink. This one I'm keeping in my private collection because it's in Shrink with hype stickers. The one I'm adding to my inventory in my garage is the one copy that is near mint plus, but it does not have Shrink. So at that point, that's the kind of level I'm heading. I'm keeping the ones with Shrink in near mint plus. Now I'm adding to inventory one that's in near mint plus, and it doesn't have Shrink. But this is an album that has impacted me for so many years. I love Peter Gabriel. I love the Peter Gabriel days of Genesis. I love Peter Gabriel as a solo artist, and and I have Shrink. Now, next time I get an album of his in Shrink, then I got some really decision making to do, right? I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll keep all the ones in Shrink. Quiet Riot. This is a great album. In Shrink with hype sticker. These guys were so big in the 80s. I remember when I was working in service merchandise, when this album came out, it blew us away. This is going to be loosely related to the last album I discussed, and you'll see why, but this is an album I'm keeping. I had another copy that was in shrink. I'm keeping that. And then my duplicate copy of that at the time was a copy with a messed up cover. The vinyl was great, but I'm upgrading my upgrade now. So I still have, now I have 2 copies in shrink, and I'm selling my 1 copy that's, I'd say the vinyl is probably very fine, but the cover is in good minus, right? It's a messed up cover. So I get to upgrade that way. Another upgrade for me is Twisted Sister Stay Hungry in shrink. The other copy I had was a little beat up. The vinyl wasn't bad, but the cover was probably a VG minus. So now I get basically a near mint cover, near mint vinyl, and the cover has a sticker on there and is in shrink. This was a great collection. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. So now the last album I'm going to kind of bring back, this Quiet Riot album, is, and this is going to go down as the find for me of the collection. This one was the record that I am so happy about, and you probably recognize this album when I was doing my flip through, but Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. I'll tell you, Ozzy, Randy Rhoads, when I first heard Crazy Train, if I was like a cartoon character, my head exploded. I loved it. Crazy Train is like one of the greatest songs. It just blew me away, and I'm thinking, Ozzy just exceeded what he did with Black Sabbath. I love this record. I only had it in cassette. I didn't even have it on CD. And again, I wasn't actively looking for it, but I love Blizzard of Oz. I am so delighted. This is the album of this collection. Now, why did I want to keep the Quiet Riot out in? It's because Ozzy ultimately, really, and this was all passive from Ozzy, sort of. Ozzy was really what sort of started destroying Quiet Riot's career. So, if you remember when this album came out, these guys were on the top of the charts, right? They were like the hybrid pop, rock, heavy metal. They were pushing with Come On Feel the Noise, very commercially accessible hard rock / heavy metal music, right? Kevin DuBrow, the lead singer, from what I hear, he was a very honest individual. He wasn't always right, but he shared his opinion, right or wrong, and he shared his opinion on Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness. He shared his opinion on Ozzy, and he said he sounds like a frog. Now, people, whether you love or hate Ozzy, the dude has an untraditional, absolutely recognizable voice. So if you don't like him, hey, that's on you. But the fact is, his voice is so recognizable. Come on, isn't that what every singer strives to be? So, so Ozzy said he had a voice of a frog. And by the way, Kevin DuBrow was not only insulting Ozzy, apparently he was insulting a bunch of other bands in the LA area. I don't know if he ever took a swipe at Van Halen, because I don't think anybody could take a swipe at Van Halen. But he was taking swipes at other LA bands that he was competing against, and that was tolerable. When he insulted the Prince of Darkness, dude, you don't think that's going to come back and bite you? And it did. It just, they were never able to hit that level of commercial success again. And, ultimately Kevin passed away, but I always thought that was interesting, and I got both of these albums in this collection. But what does that tell you? Don't diss Ozzy, right? And by the way, you guys know, I'm actually a Dio fan. So if it's talking about who as a lead singer for Black Sabbath do I prefer, I'm being honest, I like Dio. I'm not going to insult the man, the myth, the legend, but I like Dio. Dio was great. But yeah, Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz, the record of this collection for me. I cannot wait to crank this on my Sherwin Vegas speakers, because I think Crazy Train on vinyl is going to sound off the charts, off the hook, and I want to thank you all for sticking with me on this video. If you like this content, I'm going to ask you to please hit the subscribe button. If you know other people who like vinyl, please let them know. While this is absolutely John the Comic Guy and my comic book channel, as you see, I do talk about vinyl, and I get a lot of vinyl collections in. So everybody, thank you much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed this content, and I will talk to you soon.
What do you want, Stolly?
You are the most talkative little kitty, aren't you? Say hi to the audience.